Well, we've got our toasty fire going, and I only have the phone on my flashlight because my light has been on in my backpack this whole time. And of course, it is difficult to see, but we got a T-bone steak. This guy was $12.35. And to be completely honest, when I went into Walmart to get a steak, this was the cheapest one in my entire Walmart. Between the New York strip, the ribeye, and I can't think of other ones, but this was the cheapest one. So I'm not being super bougie. This is more out of a necessity. But I'm going to get this cooked up. I'm going to drink my adult beverage, and then I'm probably going to get to sleep here pretty soon because there's not much work I can do without the light. And my phone camera is awful. It's just picking up like blue and black. I'll have to throw in some shots of the night sky for you guys. So I'll get those pictures done, get this set up. I might walk back to the car and see if I got batteries or another flashlight in the car. But if not, first night's gonna be cold, 29 degrees. Had a good night's sleep at the shelter last night. Had to make a trip to the car for more TP because my toilet paper was inside of my pack, but it was left open. And we got a little bit of frost last night. And the toilet paper is very damp. And when you gotta go, you gotta go. And you don't want to be walking, 400 meters to your car. And I could go to the bathroom just where I'm at, but no shovel. And I've got that bedside potty that I can sit down and use that. So I think I'd rather use that. So we've got to walk back out there. I've not seen this tree downed. This is a recent fall because it is still green. Let's look at the base, see if that tells us any story. It's not that recent. It either didn't sever enough that it's still getting some nutrients to it, but I mean, this is a solid post. I mean, we've got, it's a 4.5, 5 inch, diameter around. I don't have all the fancy tripods and stuff, so you can have me set the camera up and press record and kind of walk by like I'm making this huge journey. You've just got me holding the camera out in front of me. What do we have here? This is, so I don't know if I've mentioned this. That's a good one to cut down. I'll set you up in the tree for now. But I don't think I've mentioned this. The property that my bushcrafting is on a tree farm. If you couldn't have guessed that. And they mostly harvest pine trees. And it goes to our local lumber mill. And they use them to make telephone poles. And my great-grandparents started this back in the 70s. And, you know, every 20 years or so, they cut down trees and replant them. So we had a tree cutting, about 5 years ago, I believe. And my grandpa told them, you know, replant the trees. And then he essentially told me and my brother that it's up to y'all if you want to continue with that. And, you know, until then, they're going to let the trees, you know, grow up again. But for our bushcraft purposes, which we've got 3 fine examples right here. We've got this cedar. It's 2 inches in diameter. This one's about 3, and that one is 3.5 and 4. We can cut down all the cedar we would like. And he doesn't want us to mess with any of the oak, so we're not messing with this stuff. This cedar would be great if it didn't, let me just go up straight, and I'm moving the camera left, if it didn't have that wonky curve in it. And then, here's another nice example. But we're supposed to leave the pine trees in case we want to continue the wood cutting farm. But my goals today is to cut some more of that stuff, get it up. This is a cute little pine tree that's coming up. It's still green, so it hasn't died from our freezes. But get more spars cut, bring more wood down from the front. So the toilet paper I have is supposed to be like decomposing toilet paper. And I know I hadn't dug a hole for this. And so this is toilet paper from yesterday. I poured water on it because I don't have a septic system. And I haven't dug a hole for this guy yet. But a hole will be dug for him. Got a nice view down the ravine. But getting more spars cut. And, you know, maybe trying to get a wall on the shelter. And then I'm also going to go down to the ravine and get enough rocks for the fire pit. And eventually, you know, when I get walls completed on the hut, fire did pretty good, but it is out. Thought I heard something. Anyway, when the walls get put up on the shelter, then I would like to use the rocks and mix in some mud and stuff and kind of make a little chimney. But back in our clearing, shelter numero uno, and I'd mostly took the tarp down off the second one, so I'll show y'all after I get some work done. adding spars. What I would say, actually, I'll show you if you're adding spars. So it's better while the tree is still standing to clear out as many of the branches as you can. For one, cedars are pokey, and when you get your bow saw in here, I gotta get this out of the way. I'm also burning all of these limbs because we want to kind of clear a path to the shelter to get the four-wheeler back here. But you want to clear all the limbs, that way you can cut it as low as you can and you're not getting attacked. But while the tree is also standing, it is much easier to get a flush cut on these limbs. It's so rooted to the ground. Than having to try to hold it. And I go up till I have about an inch left in it. But then when it comes to clearing the tree, I probably have, this is as high up as I can reach because I'm short, 5'2", 5'3". So I can't reach up too high. And so, I cut off as much as I can so the tree's I'm not losing force behind my cut when the tree is slipping out of my other hand. But I'm going to cut this one down. I've got that one on the ground. And I've got that one up against the tree. And that'll get me pretty close to 10. And then I'll get some more work done. Thought that was going to be an anthill. Oops. Got that cut in because this one fell down a while back and all of this end is starting to rot. Let's see if I can get the camera to show the rot on this bad boy. It's got a nice red center, but all of this is starting to rot. So firewood for that, and the rest of this piece is a solid 6 foot, 7 foot. Oop, my bad. All right, so let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Got 10 spars cut. Starting to rebury this corner of the shelter over here. I'm gonna get a nice bit of rocks around it as well. Got to rebury the far end, and then this tree that I've got here, I'll walk over to it. Now this nice live tree. I think I'm gonna end up retying this. It's mostly tight, but I've got all the time in the world to decide how I want to get it done. But good selection of spars. I might end up getting another tarp as well to do part of this with tarp. And then I'll get some thinner stuff to line it up with so I can toss pine needles for more insulation on that part. But the rest of this is coming back together pretty good. Got that nice sap going. I'm gonna have to take a nice long shower after this. But it's getting close to time to head out, so I'm gonna clean stuff up, let the fire burn down a little bit, maybe turn a podcast on, and get ready to get out of here. Oh, got our water source not too far from camp. This creek, it bubbles out of the side of the other side of the ravine. I have yet to see very many spots where it comes out the other side, but it is also super, super cold. And it's been super cold virtually year round. But I came down here because I'd like one of the walls on the shelter to be out of these river rocks. And this will make a perfect wall. But it goes all the way down. And it kind of loops right a little bit, and then it swings super far left. And it feeds into a lake. That's a nice flat one. I also really like the ripple patterns on these rocks, because there's no telling how big these were at one point. Let's see how big this one is. Oh, that's a nice one. I won't be able to record the walk back up and carry these rocks in both hands. Here's a nice little deposit. If they're not in the water, then you want to get a nice flipperoo on them, just to make sure you're not carrying back a friend with you. Last one. That's probably all I can make in this load. Gotta get, so water level way down here, and I'm in the bottom of said creek. And I've got to go all the way back up there, back that way. So let's get back to it. Running out of time before the weekend's over. All right, I've got this little pile of river rocks. I've been pretty busy. I haven't filmed anything in over an hour, which I'm about to walk back to my car. But I'm starting to get this wall done up. I've got 3 or 4 logs stacked up. And man, if you can't tell, I am out of breath. And I'm going to sit down for a little bit. These river rocks are massive. And so 3 or 4 logs stacked up. I fed in some of these smaller rocks into gaps, and I filled it full of pine needles. And as you can tell, that's how big of a gap I got. I mean, it's a start. You know, my knee comes up to this rock. And so this edge is much higher than this end, which means I'm going to have to get some smaller stuff and put in there. And I also want to put some logs on the other side just to stabilize this guy some more. And I never purchased a hand drill. Fire getting ready to go out. I want to sit in the shade. So I'm just going to bring my drill out here. I know it's not real bushcraft. But instead of using so much paracord, I am going to take some of the thicker cedar limbs from some of the cedars I'm cutting down, and I'm basically going to make, wooden dowels. And I'll drill into that oak tree. I'll drill into my post on this side and secure my stuff that way as well. That way I'm not using so much paracord, because I used 50 foot of paracord on this corner, this ridge. The tree's pretty big on that side, which honestly I might drill a hole, because that is 10 foot of paracord, getting 2 or 3 lashings and 2 or 3 fraps in it. And then, so my next weekend project is securing that better. Like I said, I've got about 10 nice cedars cut for this, and I'll get the frame a lot more sturdier, get the tarp put back up the right way, and a little bit more river rocks. I got a little pile of tinder built up over here. All of this stuff is between thumb and up to about my wrist. End pieces, that's pine, but end pieces that I've cut from the cedar got piled up here. So, I mean, I've got enough wood sitting there that, if it's super cold the next time I come out, I can at least keep feeding the fire. Which, after I let it go out, I want to dig the pit even deeper. Because in the very center, it's about 8 inches deep, but here on the edges, it's only 3 or 4 inches deep. But my big sign is I put about a half gallon of water inside of my watering container that I'm leaving out here. Because, like I said, the water is bubbling up out of the creek down here. But it is very time consuming. So I think I'll keep filling that up and bringing it with me. But I had the 32 ounces inside of my water bottle when I came out. Maybe a little bit less because I had some ice from being at the school. And I had about a half gallon in there. So I've consumed a decent amount of water. Probably not as much as I need for the amount of work that I've been putting in. But the car is 300-ish meters that way. So I'm going to get the fire stamped out and hope you enjoyed this video. I'll attach everything together, and I'll get a tripod set up so that I can film more of the cutting down and, you know, ASMR stuff that people like in these bushcrafting videos. But I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, I think I'm going to start making this a Friday night, Saturday thing. And if that's the case, then I hope you tag along for the ride and subscribe. Until then, I'll catch you in the next one. Alright, here's your little bonus. I'm out at the car and walked over to where we set up kind of a deer blind, and this guy is dead. I mean, all of this bark falling off is brand new. You can kind of see the remnants. We had a little wall right there, a little wall right there. But this tree and this tree, we had strung up a just canvas camo, and we were shooting deers. You know, the far edge of this is 40, 50 yards. So definitely think I need to get the chainsaw out here and cut that down, because my car is definitely close enough that they could have hit my car, or it could have fallen when we were deer hunting, or it could fall and block off my access point to get out here. But gotta get out of here. Time to start a new week, and I'll catch you